How to make coffee in a Keurig. So you're looking for a way how to make coffee in a Keurig. I'm going to go ahead and break this down into three parts for you. First part's going to be to prepare the machine and prepare your Keurig. Second part's going to be exactly how to brew the coffee. And the third is going to be some care tips after you've finished brewing your coffee to maintain your machine. You're going to need a list of things before we get started. You're going to need a Keurig machine, of course. You're going to need some K-cups, which are the cups that contain the coffee. You're going to need some water, preferably filtered water or mountain spring, if possible. You're going to need a cup or a mug, and of course you're going to need some power to plug the unit in. So let's get started. Okay, like I said, we're going to go ahead and prepare the machine, which is step one, which is fill the water reservoir. Okay, so there's two options that you do have. You have a flip lid, if depending on what model you have, that you can go ahead and take a glass or a small pitcher and fill the water that way into the reservoir, or you can remove the top and the whole reservoir will come off of the unit that you can actually take over to the refrigerator or to the sink to fill the water. So that's your preference. It's up to you. Um, and it's real easy to place a reservoir back onto the unit once you have it filled with water. You go ahead and take the bottom of the reservoir, slowly slide that in, and then those two hooks go into the holes on the side of the unit, and you want to give it a nice little push down, just make sure it seats into the unit, and then put your lid back on. And you will see there is a max fill line inside the reservoir that you want to make sure you don't fill any higher than that. And again, like I said, you really want to use filtered water or mountain spring water just to keep down on the mineral buildup within the new unit. So I've decided just to go ahead and just take this glass of water here, this small water bottle, and use that to fill. You guys can see that blue light that's flashing. That blue light's telling you that your water level is too low for the unit to work. So as you see, once I put the water in there, that blue light stopped flashing, and that's a good sign that you're ready to go. Okay, the next thing we need to do is just choose our cup that we're going to be using. As you see here, I just got a standard size coffee cup or coffee mug. What you want to do is just place that right on top of the drip plate, right underneath the spout where the coffee is going to come out. The drip plate can be removed. As you see here, the top plate comes right off, and then the bottom portion where the dripping coffee or whatever beverage you're using is collected into this thing once you remove your mug. So it's easily removed, cleaned, but again, it's just to kind of maintain any drips that come out the spout. Once you remove the drip plate, you can see it gives you a little bit more clearance. So if you have a travel mug or a to-go cup that you want to use, that is your option. As you can see the difference in size there. So if you're going to be using a taller cup, you're able to remove the drip plate, and then if you get ready to go back to your normal size cup, the drip plate just slides back into its spot very easily. The plastic part slides in the bottom, and then put the plate right on top. And again, it's up to you what size of cup you can use, and it's real nice to have that option. So for demonstration purposes, we'll go ahead and just use a normal size coffee cup, and there you go. Okay, so now we're set to go ahead and put our K cup in. But first of all, let's go ahead and close down the lid by pushing down on the handle. And if this is how your unit is starting, then what you need to do first is go ahead and open up the lid by lifting up the handle, and that exposes the place where the K cup's going to go. So what you want to do is just grab your preferred K cup, and you'll see there'll be a top and a bottom actually. So the top part is the actual foil part which is enclosing the coffee inside the plastic, right? So then you have your bottom part. So you want to put the K-cup inside the Keurig with the foil facing up or facing towards you. Okay, what's going to happen is once you close this down, it's going to um, punch a hole in the top of the foil and also in the bottom of the K-cup, and that's going to allow the water to go through the K-cup and into your mug by brewing the coffee. So the last thing you do is go ahead and push down the handle, and you'll hear it click, and you're ready to go. Okay, we're ready to brew our first cup. But before we get any further into this, what you need to do before you close the lid is hit the power button. And I failed to do that before I closed the lid. So again, before you close the lid, hit the power button. And once you do that, uh, you're going to have your selection of size of cup should be flashing, or your brew button should be flashing. So depending on what model you have, you may just be able to choose a button that says brew, or also a selection of different sizes of cups, right? So you have a small cup, which is about 5 ounces, a small mug, which is a little bit over 7 ounces, or a large mug, which is a little bit over 9 ounces. Now that's going to be based on the size of cup that you're using, okay? And definitely what you want to do is don't move the mug or the cup while the brewing's taking place, or do not lift the handle while the brewing's taking place. And depending on your model, you're probably looking at anywhere from like 1 to 2 minutes probably for the total time it takes to brew this cup of coffee. So as you see, it comes out through the spout underneath into the mug or the cup that you chose. So with that said, you'll hear a little burst of air right there at the end. As you can see how it drips a little bit, and that's what the drip plate is for. But once that's done, there you go. That will probably be your toughest decision on what selection to make depending on the size of your cup. So you'll definitely get used to the amount the more you use the unit. So with that, I guess we're on to the cleanup process. Okay, the next step is going to be the removing of the K-cup and getting this thing ready to be cleaned. So first of all, what you want to do is go ahead and just lift the handle up. Your K-cup will be sitting there, so just be careful. It could be hot if you do it right after the brewing. There's hot water that just went through that, right? So as you can see, you see a hole that was punctured in the top of the foil, and then if you look underneath on the bottom, the second hole is there. So the hot water was pushed through the K-cup, down through the unit, and then into your cup. So that's how this unit basically works. Very simple. So another piece that you can probably clean is also where the K-cup sits. This plastic insert, it just pops on out, and you can even throw that in the dishwasher if you want. Just keep it up on the top shelf so it stays away from the heater. But you can clean that out every few months. Just make sure that stays clean. And then also the next thing is going to be the drip tray that we already kind of demonstrated here a little bit ago, as far as removing that and cleaning that. So other than that, those are about the only parts that need to be cleaned every so often. And then we'll show you here in a second exactly how you can clean the inside of the unit from the mineral deposits from your water. So hang tight. Okay, this is the last part, which is your descaling, which they recommend every 3 to 6 months. You want to descale the inside of the unit, right? So what this is going to do is going to remove any of the calcium or lime deposits that may form just over time, especially depending on how much minerals you have in your water, and that's why we suggest using filtered water or natural spring water if you can. So what you want to do is put the pieces back in after they were cleaned, and then you want to obtain 20 to, they say, about 48 ounces of white vinegar, right? So this is what we're using here. So what you're going to do is pour that directly into the reservoir, a specific amount depending on how large unit or the model of Keurig that you do have. And what you're going to want to do is just go ahead and run a cycle of the vinegar without a K-cup in the unit, right? So everything's going to be the same. You're going to fill the reservoir, close the lid. You're going to go ahead and turn the unit on. Then you're going to go ahead and push down the lever, um, and that will be able to allow you to select the amount. As you see, we used a larger cup here, so we took the drip tray away and to give us some room. As you see, that it's on, so you close the lever, the amount start flashing. So I chose the larger amount, and what's that's going to do now is go ahead and brew, or using the hot water, brew the vinegar through the unit to help descale any deposits that you have over time. And again, if you do this, every 3 to 6 months, that should be plenty. I also suggest go ahead and run fresh water through the unit. As you see there, that's going to be the hot vinegar that's cleaning it right now. Once that's done, just the one cycle, go ahead and clean out the reservoir, put fresh water in there, and run 2, 3, 4 cycles of hot water through the unit, and that will definitely clear out any vinegar that's still in the system internally. So for your next cup of coffee, you should be good to go. Alright guys, that's exactly how to make coffee in a Keurig. So I hope you enjoyed that and you got something from that. So if you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate in leaving some comments down below. And if you thought this was useful, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit the like, and I guess we will see you on the next video. Take care everybody. Bye bye.